But there is some extra information that was hidden previously, so information about me, where my home page is and so on, so about the author of the page, and then we've got the content of the post and a few pictures. So that's really just browsing the data. But then you can start to ask questions like, this is almost a variation on the tag cloud idea. A lot of these Web 2.0 sites have tag clouds where you see content has been tagged with certain keywords is shown in different sizes. And these are the most popular tags that have been used by people on the blog posts that have been crawled by the system. So as it happens, the most popular one here is Semantic Web, because there was a lot of Semantic Web developers provided the data first, but that's gradually changing. But then you can start to ask a little stuff that can't be done at the moment. This is, you can think of it as kind of a social network of commenters. So here's me in the middle. This is my online nickname, which is Cloud. These are all people who have commented on my blog, and then you can see in the next level people who have commented on their blogs, and then in the next level people who have commented on their blogs. So you've got a kind of social network of commenters on different blogs. You could maybe refine this to show just people who have commented on topics related to distributed computing and get another view. But again, this is an interesting view that wasn't previously possible. Now, SIOC data can also be used by any third-party applications that make use of RDF data. There's one called PiggyBank, which is just used for browsing structured data. This one is a little bit more interesting. It's called Timeline. And it's basically a web-based application for browsing time-related information. So these are all blog posts here shown on timescale. So it's April here, March over here, and then the months and the years are shown at the bottom. And for any of these blog posts, you can click on them just to get more information on them and read more about them. And then you can scroll back and forth in time, and you can kind of get a bigger view of everything that's been written. It's a nice way actually of viewing one person's contributions on the web, that you can see everything something has written, and you can scroll back not just kind of over a few months, but you can scroll back over years, and kind of almost instantly you get an idea of how their interests have changed, over a period of 5 years if they've been contributing for that long to the web. So some examples of SIOC being used by community members. I'm going to do kind of a step-by-step thing where we start with SIOC data being produced from a site, then show how SIOC data can be auto-discovered using a plugin for the Firefox browser, and then we're going to show how this pings a service called ping.semanticweb.com, and then another site makes use of this data from ping.semanticweb for tracking distributed conversations. So kind of 4 steps I'll go through here. So this is the first step where data is being provided from somebody's site. This is a company called OpenLink Databases. It's an interesting idea. They have discussion content being provided from a number of sources, like from PHP, BB bulletin board, and from weblogs, and from whatever. So these discussion methods are all using different systems, but they're using SIOC as a kind of I suppose, transport mechanism for all these discussion systems. They're taking all of their discussion systems, transforming it into SIOC data, and then they're allowing people to perform queries on this data across all these data sources. And this is an output from the system called OpenLink Databases. When you go to a site that has SIOC data, and if you happen to have installed this plugin, down at the bottom you see a little icon that says that there's SIOC data present. Now, when you click on the data, it goes to, you can choose to view it in the SIOC browser that we've seen already. But also, a ping gets sent to this site, ping.semanticweb.com, and it shows the list of the most recently pinged RDF documents, general ones of type SIOC, and on the screen there's ones which are friend documents, and then it has a list of all the documents that have been pinged so far, so 32,000 RDF documents, 31,000 SIOC documents, and so on. And then it also provides an export to other services to make use of this information. So when somebody browses a site that has SIOC information, it gets sent to this ping service. Then other services that want to make use of this discussion data or social network data or whatever it is can get a most recently updated list of documents from the service. And as an example of the distributed conversation thing I showed earlier on, the ping service updates a site called TalkDigger, which is used for browsing these distributed conversations across the web. So it shows somebody's initial post, and it'll show kind of the web page that linked to that conversation from that, so you can have an idea of where things are being referenced and talked about. So even though we've kind of between 2 to 4 people working on SIOC here, either full-time or partially, there has been quite a good uptake of SIOC by different community members. So I mentioned already this open link data space is over here on the right hand side, and ping the semantic web. Then some other examples are these semantic web annotations of a mailing list, which I also mentioned, which is taking SIOC using other systems like FOAF and Dublin Core and representing mailing lists that way. There's also been this system called Buxen, which is an advisor or viewer for SIOC forums. So you can take SIOC data for a forum and browse it, whether it's come from a blog or a mailing list or a collection of things, and browse it in the system. And most recently we found that this system called Turbocharge, which is a content management system, have actually packaged SIOC as one of the plugins in their distribution and are selling it. And a few weeks ago, we were happy to see Tim Berners-Lee playing with SIOC. He has this application called Tabulator, which is used for visualizing semantic web data. He was putting some semantic web data using SIOC into this application, so we had a little cheer when we saw that. So that's the aims of SIOC: to semantically interlink online communities, to describe the content and structure of discussion sites, and to create these new connections, which I showed you on the picture, between online discussions, to browse connected posts and channels in interesting ways, and to overcome the semantic web's chicken and egg problem. We have a new website, which is SIOC-project.org. We also have some flyers, which we'll give out during the poster and demo session, and you can also get them from our site. There's a list of all kind of plugins we have for different systems. So if you have a blog like WordPress, you can download the plugin for that from our site. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them now.
Thank you, John. Okay, any questions?
I will follow over if you answer them.
John, you mentioned that currently there are some plugins for WordPress and Google. These are presently for export. Are these also possible for import in the sense that they will create?
Yeah, like at the moment we've just provided the export ones to get the data out there, but one of the aims was also to use SIOC as a transport mechanism. So let's say you have a blog on one site, you decide you've had enough but you want to move to another site. You can actually dump the SIOC data and use a SIOC importer on the other site to bring it into another site. Or you've been using a mailing list for years and now you decide you want to use a bulletin board instead, that you could again use SIOC as a transport mechanism from the bulletin board or from the mailing list to the new bulletin board system. So we don't have any importers developed at the moment, but that's the next stage.
Okay, so the goal further then is to create perhaps meta online communities so that it really doesn't matter where you live online ultimately.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? One additional comment would also be to your question is actually we provided some initial exporters, but now people are writing importers for themselves because they now detect that this is useful data, which again motivates other people to write exporters. So it is pushing the bobsled a bit to get it running downhill, very much in the same fashion as the web actually was established. And that's, I think, a very nice feature of this particular project also within there. So if there are no further questions, then I'm the only one now standing